Okay, hello and welcome to the Long Grass podcast, courtesy of Ferris Sports. This is the Foot Wedge crew, and the latest offering of Ferris Sports. Basically, going to be talking about everything golf, mostly South African golf, and then obviously sort of following the South African golfers on tour. Obviously, covering all the major events with the Masters weekend, which we're obviously going to cover a bit later. But yeah, as everybody will know from Ferris Sports, my name is Steve, and I'm joined by Roscoe and Matt over here, and the three of us form the Foot Wedge crew. Basically, just three amateur, well, two amateur, almost semi-pro, taking on the world of golf, one mulligan at a time.
That's it.
And yeah, so I think the best way to start this, to get everybody know, is we'll go around here and we'll talk about our handicaps, and then we'll talk about our best and worst aspects, how long we've been playing, get into the nitty-gritty of our golfing experience, which we will then see on the course very soon. But I've got a 90.8 handicap, so I'm basically not even barely an amateur golfer.
So that's beginner. That's
yeah, no, it is.
We're talking beginner there.
We're talking. This is the first time I've held a golf club.
Are you breaking 100 at a 19 handicap? Eh?
We'll play.
The suspense.
We'll play, eh? We'll play, eh? Just remember, at this stage, I've got almost 9 shots on you. Eh? So
Yeah, that's a lot.
That's a lot of swings.
So
on the course.
if you're not breaking 90, I don't even have to break you. So let's start with our Associated Pro.
Yeah, I'm playing off for one at the moment. Whether that's true or
It's
not.
huge.
is-
It's huge to be starting in like
So numbers there.
3 amateurs and the guys like, yeah,
Yeah.
I'm playing for one.
That's a lot of shots I've got to give away.
It's only 18, not bad. It's only 1 per hole.
Well,
So yeah, you're the Rick Shield basically of the group.
yeah, Rick Shields
Yeah.
was blind.
Big shots. And then I want to call you Mr. Golf
That's it, bro.
because you definitely seem to dedicate yourself to this game a lot more than even Roscoe.
Way too much. I've been thinking if I had to get a girlfriend, and I actually spoke to one of my friends the other day, and he's like, you know, bro, you got to start how you want to finish. So it's like he's been giving me a seminar, and he's like, how do you want to start is how you want to finish. So if I get a girlfriend, I'm actually going to play more golf, so that she has this expectation that like, wow, this guy plays every Saturday and Sunday is his, and it can only get worse from there. Like it's like anything less than that is a miracle. So I'm assuring you my weekends are always dedicated to golf.
So the question is, how long have you been dedicating yourself to this lifestyle preparation of the girlfriend? When are we going to see the girlfriend?
Well, that's the golf's a lot easier than finding a girlfriend. Unless I miss striking on the first, I'm walking down the wrong fairway, and she happens to be coming up the 18th, and I can strike up a conversation there.
Fair enough. What is it, 11.7 at the moment?
11.7. But yeah, unfortunately, I did say there's 2 penalty runs. One I got this last weekend.
We can't come with
And
technicalities.
I got to justify this last weekend's one because I played on Saturday, and from there I went to Babylon and Colony. So Sunday I was man down. So that's also why I didn't answer the WhatsApps on Sunday, as well as not put in my handicap. So it's not just you that got neglected.
Fair. As long as we're not.
Yeah, we're not the only ones.
Yeah.
Not the only ones. The handicap took a hit because of my lack
Girls
of.
being applied to all the time, and it's definitely me and Ross going. Cheers.
So the handicap also took the hit there. But I'm certainly not 11.7. I'm a 12-ish index typically. Let's just clarify that.
I mean, the difference between 11.7 and 12 is big, eh?
It's just
huge, yeah.
anything lower. It's really asking of a lot from me.
We do have to thank Tavares. We don't have any sponsors, but he does bring the decor with the little stars in the corner there. So we will drop you in there with the maps.
Absolutely.
All the gear, no idea. Eh?
That is the truth.
It's the best way to do it.
Yeah, it's the only way to do it. I've got the semi gear and still no idea, and maybe we'll have an idea. But
No, for me it's cool because I get a rock up to the course and it's like, wow, this guy's a player.
do you know what? I have a theory, and I learned die by this. You don't win the round. You win the clubhouse.
Dude,
For
If
sure.
I walk into that clubhouse, dressed to the 9, in everything, look
Sure.
the part, order a beer, sit down, people are looking at me going,
Yeah, everybody
sure,
thinks that you can play.
That probably came over
Yeah.
like 79, 80. That's a decent round over there. No one knows that it was 110 rounds, of course. You got to look the part. Whereas if you walk in, with your tackies and untouched
bucket
shirt,
hat.
no, everyone knows you're a bad golfer.
no, that's the play that I go for as well. They see me rocking and they're like, wow. So it's got to be like, you don't buy these clubs unless you're good. And yeah.
So you like the worst nightmare for a bunch of oaks who don't know you when you rock up and you're like, right guys, playing 2s. The guy looks and you get this over.
Absolutely.
And then your first shot, and then he's like,
Like, whoa, this doesn't add up.
What have I done?
They don't add up to what's going on the first tee. Yeah, no, absolutely.
Because also, it's not like you bring that high of a handicap into it either.
Yeah.
Because I've got a mate who's index like 23.
Yeah.
Now, but you watch him and you sit there going, how is he at 23? And now most people will watch him the driving range and they'll be like, 23, we're taking him. Most of all shots in the world.
Dude, so I can tell you that my handicap, so it's like an average handicap. Like, it's okay. It's not good, not bad, but like, it's okay. But the truth is I'm so inconsistent that it's like I can go the first hole, crack a drive like 270 down the middle, put a close birdie in the Oaks, like this is it. Like let's take off of a 12. Okay, it's a 12 index. Like this guy's gonna kill it, and then boom, it's ring, and I can tell you horror stories of inconsistency with my golf.
Well, I think, what is that scoring system that you guys had your club champs? There was a whole scoring system, was a bit of a key to the map, and it was like bogey, double bogey, and then what did they describe it? Nightmare.
Yeah, score capture.
So I'm following his club champs, and I'm like, oh no, Ross, I'm not having a good day. And you check the last hole, it's just a nightmare.
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
So I get those a
18
couple.
will do it for
10 on the 18th. That's pretty incredible.
Brutal, yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's the amount of shots I've got with this guy. Can you put it in one hole? But let's talk more about our game. Let's go best and worst aspect of the game. So we'll start with you. So apart from the fact that you drive it longer than Bryson, what else do you do on the golf course?
My best aspect is probably my wedge game.
Dude, that's huge. No wonder you're one. That's why he's a one.
Yeah, probably my wedge game and my putting. I put a lot of work into that. Worst aspect, probably the driver. When it's on, it's on. When it's off, I'm off with the snakes. I go where the buffaloes go to die.
That's fine. Come join me in the bushes there. I'm very well versed in that situation.
No, I'm quite good at finding golf balls. I mean, you saw me at cricket a couple of weeks ago, off in the bushes.
Yeah, no, fair. You do spend a lot of time in there, actually.
Yep.
You never conversations about that. Start playing in some false schools. And you the opposite, eh? Big off the tee.
So you would think, considering how much time time and practice I put into the driver, but the driver is the worst.
Is it?
So I don't hit driver.
So that's basically just like paperweight.
Yeah, so I actually don't play driver. I literally, and I can tell you stories about Leopard Creek, and I will just now, but I don't play driver. So worst part of my game, driver, best part, 3-wood. So I'm always off the
tee.
3-wooding off the tee, and I can move to 240, and from there I can just work at it.
To be fair, I've got mates who they don't even have driver in the bag.
That is just for sure, and it's like
it's quite
it
nice.
sits there
Just for show.
Everyone's like, dude, what a cool driver. I'm like, yeah. Then they're like, why aren't you hitting driver? And I'm like, no, it's just
just don't work.
Just don't work. And then I'll try hit it and then go big slice round.
Yeah. So you said wood's your best aspect of the game? Or just
the three is pretty good, and my irons are pretty decent. There's no real shining star of the game, as I say.
There's not that one place where you put money on.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like the shining star of the hole. Maybe I hit a good 3-wood.
Yeah.
But then I would have still tripled because my iron went in the water and I 3-putted. Or the next hole I'll 4-putt and I'll get to the green in 2 or whatever.
Fair.
That sort of a story.
Yeah, I mean I'm just useless off the tee. That's why I'm.
Is that the only thing that got you to a 19?
The problem is that look, I also have no short game, or approach player. But apart from that, lately I just can't get off. It doesn't matter. I can take a drive, I can take a 3-wood, I can take a pitching wedge. I just can't get off tee box at the moment. But I would say my worst aspect is definitely my short game. I get myself within 100, and the knees are.
But you were saying about the bunkers as well.
Yeah, in a bunker. Don't put me in a bunker. I'm not made for sand. I grew up with this grass. I grew up with this grass. Don't put me in the sand there, dude. Didn't play in sand enough as a child. The only thing I can kind of do is putt.
Okay.
Well, that's not bad.
Yeah, I wouldn't say I'm not draining long ones, but I'll get in close.
So what are you telling me? You're 2-putting?
I'd 2-putt most. But
the 3-putt not off the cards, eh?
The 3-putt's never off the cards.
Three putts off the cards for anyone.
It doesn't matter. You get it's more about that 2-putt, especially when you're playing high stakes. It looks like 3 putts on the cards, and you're sitting there with that 5-footer second putt, and you're going, ooh.
Yeah.
But
it's like when you ever played the PlayStation game, the PGA Tour PlayStation game, and you get those 3 or 4 footers, and the heartbeat starts to come out on the PlayStation. Stand over the 5-footer, and it's one of those.
So are you like a clutch putter, or are you just a stock standard, if that's your best? Usually so those 4 or 5 footers, are you draining those, or are you?
Yeah, I'm usually quite consistent. But I'd say it's more clutch. You know, when I need to,
clutch
it'll come in. Most of the time. I think it also helps that my putt is the only the putt is the nicest club out of my bag.
What about that?
It's a Spider. And a Spider.
Which one, X or EX? Do you know? Don't think too hard, but I put you on the spot.
I was
It's a favorite part of the game. You don't even know what
I haven't
you're
seen it
using.
in 3 months, and it is brand new to be fair. But I think it's more the confidence of standing over.
Probably,
the putt is going to do the work.
Okay, fair
So
enough.
I don't need to
But
work.
that is a good pattern.
Whereas I sit with like my £100 wedge going. I'm not particularly
This Wilson,
good. This isn't going to help very much either, you know. We're not a good combo.
Yeah.
Whereas I feel like when putt is in the hand, I'm just like, take the wheel.
Okay.
You do you. But yeah, so I mean, years playing. I mean, how long have you been playing now? How long has it taken to get to a one? Because it's taken all of 4 months to get to a.
I've been playing since I was 5.
So basically, you should be on the tour.
Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough.
Underperforming.
So you could be playing the Masters instead. You're sitting here in my house.
Yeah.
Yeah, potentially talking about
my parents' house.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can you bet?
Okay.
Talking about how should
I am.
the guys playing the Masters are.
Fair. 5. So that puts you at what? 22 now. So 17 years. Quick maths. 17 years.
17 long, frustrating years.
Did you take lessons as a kid?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you've got no excuses.
Yeah, jeez.
I've never
I used to play St.
I've never had a lesson in my life. You know?
Used to
Don't
play
come here
St.
with ours, professional golfer. You know, unless you're bringing home the dough, dude.
Yeah, no.
And were you part of a school team or anything like that?
Yeah. First team in school.
Jeez, like.
We actually, it was quite a decent school team.
What school?
David College.
Oh, okay. Jeez, Daneford through and through. Did you play at Daneford when you were a kid as well?
Yeah.
Often? Okay. It would make sense that you went to Daneford and played Daneford.
Yeah, just lived
People
in
wouldn't
Danford.
do it.
Yeah, shame, man.
Started
it
at
was
Pekin,
a tough upbringing. You're
Yeah.
like, sure, but I played Pekin this weekend.
Am I allowed to ask what's the best round yet? Are we getting there or was...
Yeah, we
Am I jumping the agenda here?
We can get there.
Because I'm interested to know what's your best
I
round.
went 71.
71, that's it.
That's it.
But I've got a
17
story.
years and he's
But I've got a
playing
story.
one under par once.
I've got a
played
story.
Daneford for 17 years. He got one
There's
under
a
par.
story
You probably
about
played that
though.
course like 1,000 times.
Yeah, like you could have done that out of luck. You could have gotten less than that, bro. I saw Steve play that for that long, bro. With the same handicap, he would have gotten less than that.
Oh, yeah. I was 3 under. The day I shot 71, I was 3 under playing 18. And I made double on 18.
Ooh.
That's huge. So you did at 18. You've got a very
Yeah, and I hit smoke driver straight down the middle. I had 7 iron in. I had 8 iron in, took 7 iron because I was scared. Still tried to hit the white off the golf ball, topped it into the dam in front of me. And I was like, okay, it's fine, I can still make par. Dropped, had lob wedge. Took up half of the fairway. Dunked it in the water again. And yeah, walked off with 71.
That's huge, actually.
Yeah.
71 to walk over 7, I'd be very upset.
Yeah.
Young 69 he does. I mean,
Yeah.
He doesn't like 69.
So I've shot 71 twice, 73 plenty times. I've never shot 72 in my life.
Jeez, like.
Yourself?
What, best round?
Best
or?
round.
Best round, 84 at Killarney 2 weekends ago. I'll have you know.
Hey, so he's in form now, hey?
So I've got a best round, and I've got best score wise, and the best round of my life. So
Two different.
so they're two different things, right? So the best score wise was Killarney, which was my 84. So Killarney is also a par 70, so you got a 2-shot swing. So anywhere else it's an 86, although it still feels like a 72, a par 72 Killarney.
Yeah.
So just bear that in mind.
Okay, so you shot an 86.
Yeah.
That's what you're trying to say.
But the best round of my life was Ipotsi, and it was was the first time I ever got to play with like these guys from TaylorMade and everything like that, and we're playing
Before your sponsor there.
before, and then
This
after
was
the round
just
there.
before he got the
Yeah,
deal.
the first round,
Before he
yeah.
started. That's why it's the best round of his life.
Yeah. But anyway, like it's the guys that I work with, and they're like all really big talkers. And the guy was like Ryan Clark. He's like a scratch golfer, and I was playing with the guy that I work with. And like we got to the first tee, and we were gonna play for a bit of money. It's the first time I've ever played for money.
Yeah.
So like no.
We're talking like 20 rand, yeah?
No,
That's
so before the round, we were like, okay, no, we'll play for 200 rand. But now we talk a lot of shit in the office and everything like that. So like, no, we'll play for 200 rand, we'll play for 200 rand. And we got to the first tee, and the guy was like, no, we're gonna play for 400 rand. No, I didn't have 400 rand, but my mind was ready for 200, which was really a lot for me. And then it got doubled. So I'm like, fuck. But I didn't want to show fear as well. I'm like, I'm with the big dogs.
Yeah, you gotta.
You know, you gotta step it up. You don't say, no, I want to stick to the 200.
So you work colleagues?
Yeah, work
colleagues. They didn't
colleagues.
be boss.
No, none of them were
so
my
you couldn't
boss.
be like, dude, you know what I am?
Yeah.
400 deep,
He would never agree to the 200. He would say, mate, it's crazy. I know.
You can't afford
yeah, exactly. So anyway, we played for the 400, and I shot 86 at Ibotsi with off of like I think I was a 22 handy. Well, not index, but my course handicap was like.
Next time you go to the 19, and I was kind of 20.
No, but that's exactly it, dude. I was like a 22 handicap off of Ibotsi, and I tell you, true as God, like 86. With the guys, like just playing incredible. It's the best. It just everything worked out, and then we won convincingly, considering that I made an 86. But we played double or nothing on the last 3 holes, and I missed a putt like this. I'll never forget it. A putt like this to win it on the 17th for like an extra 100 rand. Went down to the 18th. My mate goes out right into the. It's actually the 9th. My mate goes because we played the front 9 first. Back 9 first. That's it.
2 maths,
yeah. Massive.
So there's only two nines, dude.
Yeah, so it's pretty. I get scrambled. You get scrambled. So yeah, my mate went out right, and then I ended up going out right, dropped, hit over the back, and the guy that's the head of TaylorMade, he had a putt about this long. I don't know if the cameras can see that. In my mind, it was a bit longer, but anyway, it was about this long. I was off the green, and I had to make it to half the match, and it was like an incredibly long putt. Like it should never have gone in. Anyway, it rammed the back of the cup, popped up, went in, and all of a sudden his putt went from this to this. He still managed to drain it, but we took it to a putt off and secured the win.
That for me is like huge. Like that's psychology of golf. Like you've got a very stock standard putt and it's fine, and you like mark it and you're sitting there watching the open down there and he slots it and you put your ball down and suddenly you're like, this is not a 2-footer. This is suddenly like, and there's nothing to worry about. It's flat. It's going to go straight. The ball, it's like there. Like if you're sitting at adventure golf, where you're walking it past and you're tapping it in, and all of a sudden it's like this. That's why I think like it doesn't matter how talented I think I'll ever be able to make it on the tour. I don't have that.
So I mean, the BMT too.
100%. This was a guy who used to play on the tour, so he's a legit pro golfer, scratch golf. I mean, I think he shot like 70 or something like that. Probably went under at Ibotsi that day. And I mean, this was a putt that was only so long, but when my putt went in, I saw his demeanor change completely, and it was like the putt, he even admitted, was like, that putt got a bit longer than it originally was, because all of a sudden it was a putt now to tie the game and not lose money and everything like that. So it's crazy. It's crazy.
No, your mental game has to be just as strong as your golf game has to be.
And that's me as well, because like you hit like 2 bad shots and then I'm like so over the hole. And then you like move to the next one, you hit a bad drive and I'm like already over the hole. And like you never realize that you still actually have time to be able to recover. You can hit it bad first, and if you hit a decent second, you're like, oh, okay, cool. Like I once hit horrendous off the left, like in the bushes, absolutely nowhere, like, and all of a sudden hit a clean, and then you're like front of green for 2, and you're going, it's exactly the same as I melted in the middle there, but mentally, So my problem is that my best round for me doesn't count, because it was played on temporary greens. So
that's debatable.
Yeah, so I don't personally count it. Look, they did. To be fair, the sloping had changed because of it. So
were the greens bad, or were they? So would you say, in your heart of heart, did you feel like those greens in any way made you play better?
No. So I think the greens were a lot harder, because basically what they had done is they would basically move to the fairway in front. And they'd set it.
So was the course a bit shorter?
The course was shorter, but you were also putting on fairway, so you weren't getting a clean roll.
Okay.
So it was like you were like putting, and it's like rally up there, it's like a deck line down there.
Okay.
So it was quite difficult to putt, but it also was a lot shorter. So that's why I don't count it. So that was an 88 at Copperleaf.
Okay. Still a beast, of course. That though.
Gorgeous course, and now the greens are there. So I need to go back and play it properly. So I'd probably say my best round, which for me counts, is probably my 92 at Huddle. Home course there. You gotta
92.
Do it. But
that's to the handicap.
The problem with me is I'll go 92, 110. Then back like 91, 112. There's no like play Saturday, play Sunday, okay, 93, 94, like cool, consistency. There's nothing there.
It's tough though to get that consistency. I mean, I even struggle. You said you struggle with it, I struggle with it.
Even you.
I can do 2-3 rounds in the 70s and then I'll have 2 rounds in the 80s, and then 1 in the 70s, and then back up into the 80s. So it's,
Yeah, I just want to play with you when you shoot 90, and then we get to see the real
Yeah.
Ross.
yeah.
Then we get to the real Ross of the club.
Yeah.
I did that at the beginning of the year, but it was at Hans Marinsky, and that is one shit.
I've never even heard of it.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if you were talking about a person or
Yeah.
someone like.
It's like half looking at like the barrels to be like, oh yeah, that's
Yeah.
bad.
I
course.
follow a
It's-
lot of courses, but Hans
It's
Marinsky.
in an Air Force base
In South Africa?
In Hoedspruit, yeah.
Jeepers.
It's got 1.9 and the tee boxes.
And you shot 90 on 1.9.
No. No, we packed up the clubs.
Yeah.
But the tee boxes, the grass is about that long. So you tee up your ball and it's sitting on the top of the grass. So that's.
No, that's wild.
Oh, so you don't need a tee, you can actually just put it on the top of the grass and rip it.
Okay, so we're wrapped up.
Yeah.
Which way did you tour?
But that's why we do need to start
Yeah,
making
it's
some content. I'd like
Yeah.
to see. It's just a variety
Yeah.
of golf you're going to see out
Yeah,
there.
I mean,
Because we
that's-
can also then rip each other. It gives
Yeah.
us ammo
Yeah.
to rip into each other.
And also like you like of course I get if Oaks are like, what are you guys doing? Like you guys are stuffing around, like filming and stuff like that, you can like do this is barely a golf course.
Yeah, well, you see where we are.
Well, I'm pretty sure there'll be no marshal there.
No, there isn't. I mean, so we had 2 4-balls, and there was a starter. So we teed off in our 2 4-balls, and after about 3 holes, we were playing an 8-ball.
Yeah, no, that's.
So
That's painful, eh? Like let's play in April, dude. I was
Yeah,
playing
we had
a
to watch
6-ball.
right?
Oh my living, dude. And like every hole takes like 20 minutes, and you're like, this is
Yeah.
the longest day of my life. Especially if you're playing badly.
I don't want to kill your running order, but what is the worst golf course you've played, Steve?
Worst golf course I've played.
'Cause that's a pretty top contender. I thought I had a good one, but
Yo,
other than your home course, I don't.
hey. Hyde Park used to host like
Shots
some
fired.
open stuff back in the day.
They actually had
in,
one.
like 1734.
Dude, it was like the 70s, but
But Hyde Park had a Sunshine Tour event straight out of lockdown, I think.
Yeah, they
Or
did.
something they did, yeah. I don't know how
Those
they
players
did.
ripped it to
Yeah.
pieces.
yeah, look, respect us, dude. Respect us. The problem with Hyde Park is that they just like sold like half it off to like 5-a-side footy and
Yeah.
stuff like that. 'Cause I think they used to actually have 2 courses.
They did. I think they had 3, bro. I'm not even joking.
Yeah,
they
it
had
was
3
like-
courses.
Yeah,
They
in
might have
one
had,
day.
they still
yeah.
got. So
And then they closed down, and then they managed to do
Yeah.
like a rejuvenation.
I'd probably say the worst course I've played would probably be Observatory in the winter.
Yeah.
Just because it was in the winter. Because
Well, I mean, it's probably not just
Nah.
because
Yeah, it's not
Even in
it's not
summer,
it's not
it's
it's not
up there.
it's not the
Yeah,
best
it's
it's not the
good.
best course, but especially because it was winter, so like the grass was dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't find your ball. You get hit the middle of the fairway and you're going, where's my ball?
Well,
The greens were nowhere,
Yeah, it's-
and
that place should be good.
yeah, and if you try and walk that course, you will die.
Yeah,
Yes.
take a helmet with you.
But like apparently it's also a beast just like to walk.
Dude, it's so up and down. Like you don't walk that course.
So I actually got a cool course that I played. I went out one time to a place called Nigel. It's called Nigel Golf Course. It's on PMG actually.
Yeah.
And I went out there. We were in the clubhouse, so they didn't sell any like golfing gear, but they had like Panada and cigarettes and matchboxes.
That's the essentials.
So yeah, they had the essentials, and then it was also like in winter as well. And bro, it was a scary course to play, bro. Like the hole was half the size because the grass had just grown over it. And like the caddy spoke like he had COVID 10 times over. It was like bro, that was just mad.
You weren't sitting there going, schedule another round next week.
Yeah,
Wednesday.
it was bro. Nigel Golf Course. My goodness, was hell of an
So
experience.
we're definitely not getting invited to Hans
Yeah,
Marinsky,
yeah.
Nigel Golf Course or Observatory.
Yeah.
I think I'm a part.
I'm still with you. I'm still with you. I'm gonna go there the next time. I'm gonna be like, just give us a card.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, next. Best course though. Let's do best course then.
Ooh.
I mean, you've got bucket list courses on yours.
Yeah, no, I've been lucky to play a couple of really, really nice courses. But of all the courses, and I can say I played Gate Player was fantastic. I think Serengeti is fantastic, and I actually keep a list of my favorite courses. And Serengeti was my favorite for a long time.
That's because of the beer changing.
No, the Stella.
Stella.
Let me tell you,
And
I get for the whole 4-ball and
Yeah.
I just poured it in one glass.
We went there and the whole thing was like, you get your one beer.
Yeah.
The guy was like supposed to be clocking off. I think we each had like 5.
Yeah.
He just kept saying, just come here, come here, come here. It is a bit weird at halfway when you're like sitting there getting camera. I'm kind of getting pissed in the base there. So it's a bit odd, but hey.
Yeah. No, so as I was
Free
saying,
beer is free beer.
yeah, but that's world class. I mean,
Yeah.
you already
The experience
Al
is
Park,
Serengeti.
Nigel and Hans Mareki, just beers at the halfway, and you'll move up a bit.
They've got that pineapple beer also making
Yeah.
So I played, obviously Gary Player was fantastic. I actually, and this is a controversial opinion and not a lot of people will agree with this, I preferred Lost City to Gary Player. So I played it the Saturday at Gary Player and Lost City was the Sunday. And I shot a 86 at Gary Player and I shot at 89 at Lost City and I still preferred Lost City. I'm a sucker for a view. But my absolute favorite golf course is Leopard Creek. So
not all of us.
Leopard Creek, and I did Leopard Creek, and I've got such cool stories of Leopard Creek, and I don't want to kill your running order here.
No, it's fine. We've got plenty of episodes to come, so we can really stuck into your Leopard Creek adventures.
But yeah, Leopard Creek, I played it off the club tees on the Saturday, so your normal tees on the Saturday, and I had the driver out, and I went 45, so it was with the same TaylorMade guys that I played, and obviously we played for money, but we played over 36 holes, so we played the Saturday, we played the Sunday, and I went 40, on the first day I went 45, then I went into the halfway, and the halfway gives you buffet. So I'm talking...
I wouldn't play the back.
Dude, so listen to what happened to me. So I went 45, I'm playing for money, for me and my partner, like a better ball, like a money game. I go into the halfway of a 45, which I was like, that's reasonable, Matt. You know, it's
around Leopard Creek.
Around Leopard Creek, I go in there, bro. I'm seeing steery stumpies and like it's waffles and burgers and wraps, and like it was like a red cheese rush in the buffet where I just stuck my hand and I just grabbed everything. Like, I lost my goddamn mind, bro. I was putting steery stumpy and ice, putting
champagne in there.
So like, what's going on here? You're thinking, anyway.
It's like it's the last time he's coming in the workshop.
Listen, you got to get your money back in that place.
So I lost my damn mind. And I went and shot 60 on the back nine.
Bit of a burger swing off it.
Dude, the worst night I've ever had in my life was the back nine there. And then the Sunday, I went and I was drinking on the Saturday night. And there's a whole other story about what happened on the Saturday night. But the Sunday morning, after a crazy Saturday night drinking and everything like that, I went and I shot 91 off of the pro tees. And I left the driver in the bag, just took out the 3-wood off the pro tees, Leopard Creek, and I made a triple on the last. So I was like on track to shoot at 88. And this is coming off the back of like
heavy Saturday.
Heavy Saturday evening.
Yeah, dude, sometimes that helps. When I play cricket, I'm hungover, you'll see me play my best.
Some guys preach it. My mate that I work with also, he's
you don't overthink it, you just see ball.
Yeah, and I don't. I much prefer, I have a routine in the morning that I like to do.
Get up, go for a 5k run.
No, it starts
smoothie and
wake up,
a bit of yoga.
And it involves a Monster energy drink. I have to have a Monster energy drink, and at the turn I have my sugar-free Red Bull, and then I'm good.
I'm so glad it's sugar-free.
Yeah, no, because I've seen it.
What about health in this podcast?
No, absolutely. It's also just Monster sugar-free as well.
Okay. No, 100%. As you can see, we are all athletes on this pod here.
Despite crunching a 500ml Monster at 6 in the morning.
Yeah, no, it's a sugar-free, so it's
okay. So that's the point. That's the real point of the conversation. So
yeah,
but absolutely, Leopard Creek, that is world class. Do we need to take a pause or?
No, we'll continue going as cameraman sorts himself out there.
Fantastic.
To make sure that I've got enough of me, because as the star of the show,
the thumbnail is going to be of this moment, right?
I think myself as like the star in the Reason Price car at this podcast. That's my role here. But so Leopard Creek, it's a big course you jump in there.
Yeah, no, it was. I was. Yeah, it is as big as it gets, if I'm honest, and it's fantastic, man. Fuck that course, from tee to green, every hole, and like you see hippos, you see elephants, you see everything. Man, it was an exceptional experience, and I was lucky to play it the Saturday and the Sunday, off both club and champ, because the champ tees are so much further back, but they're in such cool positions. Like if you ever get to play there, the 15th. Is like the club tees, like it's like this little stretch of grass that like shouldn't even be there. Yeah. That somehow is just landed.
If any time golf course, it shouldn't be there.
Yeah, no, it shouldn't. You get put on this little stretch of grass, and it's like this downhill over the top view, man. It was incredible. No, so that's my absolute favourite.
Okay, well, why don't we go first?
Good luck following. Steve's gonna hear us at the Huddle Park.
Calm down. So I'll say for me, like when I played Copper League, it was good. Copper League.
You gotta get it right.
You gotta get it right. Couple lakes where you gotta drink. Where you gotta play golf.
Yeah. So I was there. So I really enjoyed that course. I thought that was like something that isn't spoken about enough. I thought that was like a pretty world class course. Loved Serengeti, but I did buy into the hype when I played the East Course at Royal Joburg.
And you liked it, eh?
I loved it.
Yeah.
Like you sat there, like the grass, the greens, everything. But it was long.
Yeah, proper championship course.
You sit there thinking you understand why this is like it's used so often in the events.
Especially in tournament condition when that rough's grown out and the greens are fast, it's
No, so I mean, and I played pretty well that day, but it's a long course.
Yeah.
I'd say Princess Grant is also up there for one of my favorites.
Oh, I love in Durban. That's
Yeah.
my favorite
Yeah.
course, bro.
And I only played the front nine.
And it's like you drive in there and you're like, what the fuck is this place that I'm going to? It's like you're driving on these dirt roads.
Yeah.
And then you get there and you're like, whoa. And like you're like, such cool
You sit at the
shots.
clubhouse and you look out at the first and,
Yeah.
and the 9 and the 10, and you're like, shit, okay.
No, dude, Princess Grant is, that is my favorite Durban course.
So we're going to Leopard Creek, I'm going to East Course. Now you're going to go big here. Yeah, I'm going to play Augusta.
Glendower.
Oh, there it is.
One of the best I've played. But the best course I've ever played is Torrey Pines, South.
Oh, okay. This like really had to go, dude. He had
He had it as well. He had it as well.
I let the creek and be like, I got this motherfucker in the back.
Yo, dude. Devaris sitting like, okay, I thought I'd won Leopard Creek, I was there, my boy Jan Rupert, we were playing, fantastic. And he's sitting there going, you probably hit the Uno reverse card there, dude.
Yeah, a couple of years ago we went out to the States and we were in that side of town and we got to play the South Course a week before the Farmers Insurance as well. Let me tell you, that is one hell of a golf course.
Well, the green's rapid there.
Oh,
What did you shoot?
I shot 86.
Okay, it's reasonable.
That's quite a cool part story. I shot 86 Troy Pounds.
Absolutely. It's not a 60 on the back 9
Yeah, it's not quite a 92 at Huddle Park.
Yeah.
No, it's a serious golf course.
Did you play any other courses out there?
Played PGA West, where they've got that American Express.
Oh, okay.
Played that. Alcatraz. It's got that's the one with the par 5 or 16 with that deep bunk on the left. I'm sure if you've seen videos of like Phil and that when you can't even see the green. And then after that's that par 3 island green. They call it.
Yo, I hate the island green.
Is it
That Serengeti one.
The
I went that side of it, I went that side of it, I went over and I went short.
Yeah, so I played those two courses, but Torrey Pines definitely the best.
Was that all in one round? Was that all in one go?
round.
You don't need to talk about
Because I was like, oh,
Talk about Torrey Pines here.
Did you play the course 3 times or did you do that in one
it.
go?
You know what it was? So I already picked up and said let's go to the next 12, but there was nobody behind us. And I was like, you got to hit the hard green. So we had to toss another ball out and just the last 2 more. And I was like, shit, let's see after that last.
Yeah.
Because it's what I think it's the 8.
Yeah,
Or,
it's
so
the
literally, so I was like,
eighth, yeah.
to go like we have lunch.
And that par 3 after is
Yeah,
also
the par 3 is
nasty
also
one,
not
dude.
so nice.
Yeah, because
That little sloot down the left
Yeah.
and you at the right there.
So, wow. So that's quite a. Yeah, you can't believe you got dust. I can't believe you came in with Leopard Creek.
I was like, I've won it.
And
I was like, there was a trophy here when it just moved in my way.
And he started with Glendower, like.
Yeah, it was such a.
So it was like, yeah, fine, you know, we're even. And then, but yeah, it's probably Torrey Pines.
Oh, dude, Glendower was the biggest catch of my life. It was such a
and
setup.
he even make the Augusta joke.
Yeah.
He's thinking, not quite.
Close.
Okay. So that's where we are with our golf careers. I suppose you should actually talk about like the real golf for a little bit.
Yeah.
Because there's only so many people that care about how many times Steven hits the water.
Yeah.
Sunshine Tour is coming to the end of the 2022 season. We've had the big events.
Co-sanctioned.
Yeah, so we had Pekin Wood and we had Stain City. Ross was boozing it up at Pekin Wood.
Yeah.
We sent him to cover it, and then we
Got some footage.
and then we got photos of him on, and then we messaged us. Oh yeah, no, we were on the boat and with the dam, based on the Blues Cruise, you know. So you talk about your work ethic. But then we were at Stain City, watching some pretty childish golf, to be honest, in terms of the way that they were playing that course. Sean Norris, Dean Burmester. I thought they were going to go a lot lower after the two. We watched on the Friday, I think.
Yeah, no. Were you not watching?
No, I'm sure it was the Friday.
Right, you guys
Yeah.
watching the week,
Yeah, day 2, and yeah, I mean they've gone about 70 under, I think, on that day.
I mean, we went, because James Harper shot 10 under.
Yeah, the day before.
First, and he's been on 59 watch.
And yeah, he kind of bombed out from there. I mean, not
Right.
bombed out, but he didn't really.
Yeah, he had a good Friday. I think he shot 7 under with 5.
Yeah, he was in and around there. I mean, he was saying he was very chuffed. He said he reckons, I think it was on Twitter or Instagram, he was saying he learned a lot during that round. He said he learned a lot about himself during that round. He's got to win eventually, like something. You look at him and I see a win. No, not like a DP Tour event, stuff like that. But I reckon he'll start playing up in the Sunshine Tour.
I would say he's definitely one of the better if not one of the best Sunshine Tour players at the moment.
Yeah.
And I mean, he's got incredible, like it's crazy. Everyone talks about Wilco, but I mean, if I'm not mistaken, he's out-driving Wilco.
Yeah, James.
Well, when he played that PGA Tour event at the beginning of the year.
Yeah, that was at PGA West.
Yeah. So, okay, we get it.
You played PGA West and Tory Pines stuff.
When the SA Open goes back to Huddle Park, you guys never hit the end of that. But and I think it almost like set him up for failure because I think it was on the Wednesday, the PGA Tour posted his distances, and everybody was like, "Oh shit, we've got like Bryson here."
Yeah.
But like Bryson on drugs type thing.
But because that was his first PGA Tour event.
Yeah.
And like usually you play your PGA Tour events and no one really knows.
Yeah, you're not spoken about, but he got so much media coverage from
so much media coverage, and it was all about his drive and him warming up and everything like that. I don't even think he made the cut.
Yeah, I think he did actually. Yeah, but also I think what we're seeing though is that it's because there was that very much the longer you hit at the belly RV for a while, and everybody was like, especially after Bryson won the US, and everyone was like, here it is, it's the time of the long drivers. But I mean, Bryson hasn't really kicked on.
Yeah.
So I think there's still a lot to be said about the guys whose all-round game is. I mean, we watched.
I mean, it's one thing to hit it 400 yards, but if you can't get up and down, you're never gonna.
Yeah, if you can't patch, you know it. Because we were watching Wilco and Cheapers and stuff. He smokes a ball.
Yeah, he does.
Even people that like drivers, like even like a JFL, we watched him, but when Wilco hits the ball, we sat there going, "James."
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, that just makes a different sound.
Yeah, and I think, even the guys who are playing with it, you can see like as he hit it, there's like a little chuckle.
It's like
and those are like tour pros. Like they're not exactly playing short, and then just watch him. They're going. He's also so young as well. But
dude, I think James Hartopre in terms of he's probably the number of like seriously good South African golf talent, but he's probably one of the guys that I reckon you're starting in the top 5, if not the.
I also think he's made massive advancements in his game recently. Because I mean, a year ago you didn't hear much about him, but in the last 6 or so months he's made.
But also like his body, he's just got like the correct like physiology for a really good golfer. That tall, lanky, he's so tall. Like it must be so easy to get distance with all of your shots when you're that like kind of body shape, you know.
Yeah, when you're coming down from space, it's.
Yeah, no, exactly. It's so easy.
Yeah, I mean me and Ross put opposite, so I wouldn't say it's a set rule, but not that easy for us, you know. The golf ball's a long way down there.
But I'd like to see James Hartopre start winning some more and everything like that. I think he's obviously got some sort of mental game he needs to get right, just to. Because still for me, like you go stay in City and what do you make? You went 10 under and what, like 7 under,
7 under,
and then sort of fizzled out come the championship rounds at the weekend, you know. And then PGA Tour as well. The spotlight was on him and he kind of bummed out. Like, you know, he's such a good player, but just I don't know. Maybe there's a mental game there.
There's just something that needs.
You know what I sometimes wonder, especially about Sunshine Tour players, where the money is not ludicrous, and you're not like if you're playing on the Sunshine Tour. If you're winning often, then you're pretty sick. If you're not winning all the time, you're missing cuts. It's tough. Like you have to sit there thinking, how long do I stay on tour for?
Absolutely.
How much of that relief of making a cut do you think makes a difference in terms of like you make the cut on Friday and you're like, okay, there's prize money here. This hasn't been a waste. I'm going to walk away with a bit of cash. How much do you think that plays into your Saturday, Sunday round? Because I think the best players who are there, like missing a cut wasn't an option.
Yeah.
The work starts on Saturday. You make the cut. You're in a good position. Now you're like, right, now I'm going after it.
I think if you letting that affect you, so if you're saying, okay, I made the cut, the work's done, that if you're going in there with that mentality, you're on the back foot straight away. Because as you said, that's when the money's made. Saturday, it's one thing making the cut, but if you want to make money, you've got to come to the party Saturday, Sunday. I mean, it's like that saying you hear every year when it comes, like with relation to the Masters and it being Masters Week, it all comes down to the back nine on Sunday.
Yeah.
That's when shots are made, putts are made, and money's made. So, I think if you want to win and if you want to make money, you've got to view it as you've got to put in the hard yards.
But I suppose there's also that adjustment period where you do them, and also I think that's where like the guys who get the sponsorship stuff early and stuff like that, and they've got that financial backing.
Yeah.
There's no worry.
Yeah.
You miss a cut, you're like, right, I need to be out there on the Saturday weekend, working on next weekend.
Yeah.
Whereas the guys who don't necessarily have that backing, you missing a cut and you're thinking, shit, you know, that's money lost, I've got to pay the caddy, I'm not getting any stuff like that. So
and there's like a lot of development guys in the Sunshine Tour as well that have come from very, very little money, you know. So I guess for me, I'd imagine that there's a lot of guys that making the cut is almost the goal for them. And like I'm sure there's a lot of these guys that make the cut and they're like, damn, I'm never going to make the top 10 in this. I'm happy to make the cut. Just get through the rounds on Saturday, Sunday, walk home, because it's literally the difference between getting paid for that weekend and not getting paid.
Having food on the table or not.
Yeah. I knew a couple of like pro tennis players, and they were saying they would go if they flew to a tournament in, let's say, I don't know, Spain. They would have to get to a certain round to have covered their costs.
Yeah.
So that their travel expenses, their flights, their accommodation, it hadn't been a loss for them.
Yeah.
So if they got like the last 32, or they got to quarterfinals, bang, you've broken even. You paid everything that you do. If you got progressed, then you're actually earning. Then and that must be huge on the tour. Like sitting there going, I know it's not like stupidly expensive, but we're in the Popo this weekend. All right, cool. Next week we're in Fancourt.
Yeah.
And like so now you fly down there. You got to get caddy down there. You got to get everything down there. Now if you're not backed and you're not winning and everything like that, and you don't have the sponsors, like they all do have sponsors to a certain degree. But I mean,
it gets pricey.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure, and the sponsors I'm sure are just there for equipment purposes. So I'm sure most sponsors are there just there giving them money for clubs and when I say giving them money, I'm just giving them clubs and balls and gloves and all the sort of necessities to keep you playing golf. Whereas they're not so much paying for your training. Maybe you've got coaches, maybe you're flying down.
Your coach needs a salary. Your caddy needs a salary. You need to be able to. There's accommodation and stuff like that. So
exactly. But I do know the Sunshine Tour does do a lot for these guys. Like in terms of sporting bodies, I think the Sunshine Tour is actually one of the really good South African sporting bodies. Like I know there's
in terms of looking after it.
In terms of looking after their players and stuff. So like at Peak and Wood, as far as I'm aware, they organise a lot of accommodation for guys. They organise transport and stuff where they can. Like I think in terms of governing bodies, the Sunshine Tour does a flipping good job, especially in regards to South African sport. There's a lot of.
I think I've been very impressed with them post lockdown. I've been very impressed. They're definitely they've gotten a couple of new guys in. I can't know the new social media guy, and it's cool to see like on Instagram you're seeing clips of the shots and stuff like that. Or you're seeing all the winners and stuff like that. There's been a big concerted effort to try and make it a bit more accessible.
Yeah. And in all honesty, like I love going to live sports. It's like watching live sports, one of my favorite things. Test cricket, put me on the grass with the jug of beer in my hand, love it.
Just one.
But if you go to a live South African golf event, it's actually fantastic. I don't think people realise how good it is to actually watch until you're there. Like if you look at the Peak and Wood that My Golf Life opened from there, you obviously there, Oscar. 13th par 3, they're playing music, there's guys on boats.
That was actually my biggest criticism of State City.
What?
That there wasn't a lot done for the spectator.
Yeah.
I know, and obviously it probably changes once they start selling more tickets and stuff like that, but when we went there was the tent by the clubhouse for the residents and the VIPs and stuff like that. Apart from that tent by the clubhouse, there was, I think it was at the top there, we went to a place which was
15.
All you could get was like a couple of coolers of water and a bagel. 2 bagels over there. And there was a little hut where we could buy beers. But there was no, and obviously as I said, it was difficult because there aren't lots of fans, but there wasn't like a beer tent anywhere. There wasn't anywhere like you could go and sit and have a beer and stuff like that and watch the game, stuff like that. Because I heard so many good stories about Peakwood that they did that kind of thing.
Touching on the Barris's thing with Peakwood, I mean at the back of 6 there was a massive beer tent and there was Pravers and Brewery Rolls and all of that, and then Saturday, Sunday was the boat top 13 on the water there, which was...
And they had like mist cut parties and everything like that. Like that. Do you know, so I was actually...
was one hell of a party.
So I was there. This is how cool this is. Listen to what this one guy did. On the 18th, by the 18th tee box, there was some family owner there. And he had set up, so he'd organised all his mates this really big party, and he'd organised this, it's the guys that do these simulators. So out there on his grass patch outside, he had a simulator, so they had like a huge blow up tent, and him and his mates were playing simulation golf, like hitting full on shots in a tent, hitting, and then literally could look out and see the guys playing the 18. Like how crazy is that?
They're probably simulating Peakwood. They played the My Golf Life Open.
They may as well have. They probably made the cut. So they probably got paid.
They're emailing Sunshine on Monday. We're winning zero. What's going on here?
No, but that's right. Like, stuff like that's so cool, you know. But I must say, like the Sunshine Tour, they do a good job at like putting on the events, and like you got to know it's a lot of players that they got to get there, a lot of stuff, and obviously I think Staying City is a very restricted area with what you can do, and as you say,
it's a residential estate as well. Which shows Peakwood, I suppose.
I think there was a good buy-in from the Peak and Wood homeowners. But
Yeah, you've also got to think about how new stays and how few homeowners that there actually are.
Also, I think that we were saying when we were there, I want to see states in a year's time. When all those travel restrictions have gone, because it wasn't, I mean, the prize money was decent.
Yeah,
you know, so we're gonna hopefully see bigger players and stuff come down, and I only see that they'll put that prize money up because they'll want to try and get bigger players.
As soon as they get, as you said, as soon as all of this COVID pushes off the endorsements, the sponsors get bigger, then that prize money gets bigger. It becomes easier for guys to travel.
Well, it's exactly when I went to, I think it was the 2016 SA Open. And that was when Rory McIlroy and all of them were there.
Yeah.
And there's activations as far as you walk in and there's like tents all around, there's long putts, there's simulation things here, there's this, and it's so cool. There's like so much you can do.
South African golf, live South African golf is definitely...
It's a really cool spectacle. It's fun to watch golf live.
Yeah, I mean, and it's cool too. And the nice thing, the one they always had was nice to stay in, and it was a bit cut at the same time because obviously there weren't the crowds like over going to SA Open. It was actually 2020. Before lockdown and stuff like that, and walking with the crowd, obviously we were following the lead because we were playing well and stuff like that. But I mean,
was this at Rand Park?
Yeah. No, it was a good time. I think I saw you there actually.
Yes, you did.
But I stayed. It was quite like we were just literally sitting at the 10th, like on the side there, and guys were walking out, and it's like James up here was walking out, and it's like, how's it going? Well, I'm like, oh, cool.
Yeah.
morning, and like so that part was quite cool. It felt very like quite like you literally like were like 2 meters away. Like we walked behind Wilco and felt like Washington hitting stuff like that, and you literally like were right there. As much like the other ones were like walking down the side. So that was quite cool, and you actually get to sort of see how they operate and stuff. But speaking, so as we come to the end of the Sunshine Tour, we obviously now got going into next season. That's we're going to bring Roscoe, who's our Sunshine Tour. Well, you guys both the Sunshine Tour exit in terms of. I think the biggest thing is that how does the average South African know how the Sunshine Tour works and how do you get into the Sunshine Tour? Where do these guys come from? Where they're going to? So, let's talk about how the Sunshine Tour works basically. So we've got Q School coming up.
Yeah, stuff this month.
Well, Ross, take us through. If you're an average player, you're a Ross who's playing off 1/0.2 playing provincial golf. What's from there at 16, 17? What do you need to do to be playing on the tour eventually?
So you've got your Big Easy and your IGT tours, and they run pretty much throughout the year, and weekly events, and there's an order of merit, and the winner of those two order of merits automatically get a tour card for the following year. And on top of that, you've then got Q School, and I think there's 3 stages of Q School. They had the first 2 in December, and final stage is end of this month, and I think it's top 100 guys for 25 cards, if I'm not mistaken. 5 days of golf, and there's a cut after each round, and then top 25 get their tour cards for the following year. And then it also comes with categories. I'm not too clued up on the categories, but I know your IGT is in a sense your worst category that you can get if you get a card through that. Your Big Easy Tour is your second best category, and then if you get a card through Q School, that's the best category you can get into in terms of how many events on the Sunshine Tour you're then exempt for.
And so now Steve gets his card and stuff like that. How many? Do you have any idea when so let's say the worst card? How many events are you playing off the bat?
You're probably playing in a third, probably getting exemption into a third of the events, and then have to pre-queue for the rest. I might be wrong, but that
around this. It sounds about right. I mean, it's a bit hectic. You want to work it fine. Like, cool. Here are the 5 events across the next 9 months.
So that baffles me because it's also the IGT it's literally, I think it's 48 events in a 52-week year.
Yeah.
So you've got to play good golf for 48 weeks of the year to win that order of merit, and then to still get the worst category for the following year is really rough. Whereas if you've got Q School and the guys on the IGT, if you finish, I think it's top 15 in the race in the order of merit, you then get exemption to final stage.
Which is kind of now, eh?
which is coming up now. So, and then that's 5 days of golf. So if you play 5 good days of golf and get your card, compared to the guy who played good golf for 48 weeks and then he has a terrible week at Q school and doesn't get his card through Q school, you've then got more exemption than he does, but he played well for a year and you played well for 5 days. So that...
But I suppose it's also like, even once you're on the tour, I suppose there are also those events, those like specific events. If you play well on those specific events, you know, you can get big invites, you know.
And it's exactly that, because even though your exemption is fewer, if you go on to, let's say, your second Sunshine Tour event and you place second, that then bumps you up the order of merit, and that's also how they base invites into tournaments.
Yeah.
So if you have 3 good finishes and you're lying 10th in the order of merit, your then category that you came onto the Sunshine Tour with almost doesn't matter anymore because of where you lie in the order of merit. So yeah, it works.
Yeah, it's quite hectic.
Yeah, there's different, it's interesting how it works.
Yeah, I do think the Sunshine Tour doesn't do a good enough job of explaining like how guys got there and whatnot. Usually you just see like some random players and everything like that. But if you actually go look when they enter a tournament, like as Roscoe says, there's so many different categories. It's like
That's
3B, 3C,
like,
and I'm like, this means nothing.
Yeah, you sit there and all I'm doing is looking at like the first like 30 names and I'm like, okay, those are the guys I recognise.
Yeah.
I'm not scrolling down to the bottom, and again you're seeing like
because you got like category 9 EA.
And like what just add a bracket.
Yeah.
You know, there's a from school for invite or tournament invites and stuff like that. You know,
and like Roscoe like explaining it really nicely, like in terms of like, you know, IGT is probably your lowest form of qualification, then Big Easy, and then Q school. Like it's really cool because I didn't really know the correct like IGT being the lowest order of getting into the tour, whatever the best way to say it is.
Yeah.
But like I know a guy, I don't know if you've seen who won the IGT last year, I think it was. Do you know who won it?
Yeah. What, the order of merit?
Yeah, the order of merit.
Yeah.
A guy called Michael Kopp.
Yeah.
And he's
the year before last.
Was it the year before last? Yeah. So I think he's playing on the tour next year or something, next season. A hell of a character, bro.
Yeah.
Like, you must see the TikTok.
Gotta look at his TikTok account,
He loves a TikTok,
Yeah. But I mean, like, it's just, as I say, it's just really cool because I think it would do the tour a lot if they could do a better job at explaining those weaker categories, just to give more meaning behind the players. Like, I thought, you know, Michael Koch had done like a Q school or something. I don't know if it was I knew it was the IGT, but like I thought the IGT was like the more prestigious way.
Yeah, I think the problem is because you kind of get the idea that you've got these guys who, and also where does amateur golf stop? Where does it start? You know, suddenly you play IGT, like when, you know, even then, how do you get into IGT? How are you playing Q school and stuff like that? Where the pipeline is and stuff like that? Because you kind of watch an event and you think, oh, this guy must have just qualified through a lower event, like a non-sunshine type event. But you know, where are those events? What are those events? How are those events working? How many players are playing it? You know, how many semi-pro active golfers are there across the country? You know, that kind of thing. I think that's something that we will hopefully be able to tell people more about that.
Well, that I think that's the point. Because I said, and I even said it to Steve before we started this. I was like, you know, the one thing I feel like the Sunshine Tour really lacks is a really good narrative behind their players. Like, there's no real story. It's like, this guy's really good, this guy's really good.
We need to see a Bryson
Brooks.
Should we just create one?
Yeah, well, I mean,
should we just decide that 2 players don't like each other and just run with it?
That's it. I mean, we need some gossip.
See what we can do.
So we're gonna put next podcast. We'll just pull 10 heads out of our hat and create a wild narrative.
But I mean, as you said, like even just like if people knew what guys have done to get in and whatnot, I feel like it would go a long way. Like as you said, the IGT is a really good one to run off of. Like there's so many cool storylines of like young up and coming golfers that have done certain things that I think is a great narrative
and
for guys.
And also, if you go and I followed the IGT quite closely because my cousin played on it last year. And if you go and you follow them and you see their past winners that are now either Sunshine Tour winners, DP World Tour winners, or PGA Tour winners. I mean, you've got Christian Bezuidenhout, you've got Donnie van Tooyde, you've got all of those guys who have come up through the IGT ranks. But you talk to, I mean, you go to your local club on a Saturday and you ask them if they know what's going on in the IGT. They don't even know what the IGT is.
Yeah.
But that's like where the basis of our professional golf starts, in a sense.
Yeah, exactly.
And for me, it all comes down, and it's the same across all sports. You've got to create fandom.
Yeah.
You've got to create, I want that guy to succeed.
Yeah, there's got
not
to be
just like
something that attracts you.
And I saw him when he was on the IGT.
I was invested there.
Yeah.
Like, I remember, you know, the DJ Tiger.
Yeah.
He's not huge. I remember when I was in Matric, couple of us found his SoundCloud stuff.
Yeah, you see.
And like we were listening to it on SoundCloud, and then all next thing you know, he comes on the bit, and you still go in like, you kind of like feel like you're a part of it. You're like there,
You probably tell that story every time a guy goes.
Listen, I knew this guy before
I knew he was going to be a
yeah.
world champ one day.
I was there. So yeah, I think you need to create those stories and stuff like that. You want that guy to, because at the moment, let's be honest, and even now, you can't turn on the TV, you're watching a PGA Tour event, and the first thing I do is I look at the leaderboard going, where's the South Africans?
Yeah.
But that's the only connection I've got. I'm just sitting there going, where's the South African flag?
And I mean, it's also recently with the WGC and this last week at Valero Texas Open, the story of Richard Bland. I mean, I don't know who on earth Richard Bland was until he won the Betfred British Masters last year. At the age of 48, he's been on tour since he was 21.
Yeah.
He went back to the Challenge Tour in 2019. And now all of a sudden he played in the WGC 2 weeks ago and played in Valero. I mean, it's the first time he's been ranked inside the top 100 in the world in his career. He's been playing this game for 27 years.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And how cool is having the story if you're sitting there like 30 years old going, well, I'm never making it. I'm done.
And he's a perfect example. I mean, if he had beat DJ in his quarterfinal match at the WGC, he would have got into the Masters for the first time in his career.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, he lost, but then he got a sponsor's invite to Valero Texas Open, and he had to win that to get into the Masters. But now he made cut to Valero and had a decent finish, and he's got into the top 50 in the world for the first time at 49.
It's crazy.
As well, there.
I mean, it's stories like that.
Still hope.
I'm coming, eh? I'm coming.
This is
your career is done. He had to go. He needed the barrels. We still got.
Steve, you've got a hell of a story.
We
19 handicap, and I knew I'd make it one day.
And this is where it starts. This is where the documentary starts. You know, I was sitting in the parents' house talking about golf, 19 handicap to the Masters.
Oh, really brilliant, Steve.
Probably just be in the beer tent, but and that would be a nice story.
Speaking of beer,
Speaking of beer, yeah, we need a beer break. Probably a camera break as well. So again, and then seeing as we're talking about people missing out on the Masters week, chaps.
Yeah.
Masters week. And I know Roscoe's got some money down.
Yeah.
Do you have money down?
I don't as of yet. I've started my golf champs, and there's a thing on my golf life as well that
is the worst poured beer.
the camera on.
The camera is on. That's going in. I mean,
It's warm and a whole bunch of excuses.
it's warm.
I'll turn the
There's an
camera
ice
on.
pack in the cooler box. That's
Funny glass.
I like when John's like trying to pass it off. He's like, yeah, no, I'm getting my fancy sorted.
No. But I am distracted. Are you having?
Yeah, but I'll pour it.
Oh, fair enough.
Now put pressure on myself.
I had one job, and I didn't get the
camera.
camera duty. Fizz. I didn't get the camera duty, but stuff this up. So I did this thing on my golf life. As all, you pick 5 players, and like I'm all about fantasy sports. Like fantasy
Well, you can't
sports.
play the real sport. Might as well play the fantasy.
No, exactly. And like I'm on Discord channels for all sorts of fantasy. I do Premier League, I do the F1, I do the golf champs. So I was starting this.
Yeah.
But as I said, mine was fizzy, so I don't know if we want to give free advertising out here.
Well, it's a call to action.
Yeah.
You too could have your beer on the podcast.
Unbelievable opportunity.
Yeah. No early potential, but.
So I was looking at some of the guys that I wanted to pick. A couple of guys that interest me. I think a person that's pretty good, and I'm sure that's who Roscoe has money on, is Tiger.
Yep.
Well, we need to talk about we need to talk about Tiger.
Yeah. So I think Tiger's is a whole different conversation, especially in terms of betting odds and these sort of fantasy games that you want to play, because his ranking is quite high.
Useful. I think golf champs, I think he's ranked 973rd, so you've got him, and then you can go with the 3 best.
Yeah, exactly. So in terms of the fantasy stuff, and Tiger's his whole he could be his own podcast, to be dead honest.
We
So,
could.
I think about 95% of the podcasts in the world probably just totally.
So I don't want to get too strung up on them just yet, but absolutely in terms of all the fantasy games and the super group picks and whatever it is that you're doing out there, Tiger's a fantastic option. I also think a player that's looking really good lately is Scotty Scheffler.
Yeah.
Do you think he can do it again though?
I don't.
No, so most players.
I'm not even watching him, to be honest, this week. I think he's playing good. I'm not.
I think he's a seriously good player. Like most players that seem to kind of win before don't really tend to win the Masters, but
Yeah, you don't go back to back, do you?
Yeah, I mean, 3 wins in 5 weeks, and he didn't play this last week.
Yeah.
So if he won next week, it would be 4 out of 6, and that's a WGC and the Masters.
no, that's crazy.
No, you're not.
On top of the waste managements,
Yeah.
which are all.
But he's certainly in good form, which is also a good reason to pick him for the Masters. Okay, so I'm talking a lot about my fantasies and everything like that.
Okay, just stick to golf fantasies.
Yeah, no, that's what I mean.
Yeah,
Basically, do we need to worry about the beeping then?
What's happening with you, Chief?
There goes our camera, Ross. Now it's now the Steve
Now it's all
Pettis show.
Steve.
Yeah, it is unfortunate.
Good
Fine,
thing
we've
we
got
got
the main one. We've got the main.
Yeah, so Scotty, I think in terms of form-wise, is a great pick. Did you know he'll be up and about, whether he'll win, maybe not. Zander as well. I like the look of Zander, and I'm trying to think who was another player. Mr. Consistent in the Masters, Louis Oosthuizen, all majors, got to pick him. Love him.
Yeah, well, the thing is, and he'll probably flop because of this, but usually he'll do well.
Yeah.
I don't.
He's a major player, that guy.
Yeah, he
He
is.
just pitches up. He just doesn't matter what
Top 10,
Doesn't matter how he's
let's go.
playing. He'll be in and around the shot.
But it'd be lovely. If there was one person I'd love to see win the Masters, probably Scotty or Louis.
Yeah, I mean, people have. I mean, we've got to see Louis win another major.
Yeah.
You can't retire as the guy that just never could.
Yeah.
I mean.
Yeah, I mean, and speaking about Louis and his being a major player, I've got money on him to finish top 10 in all 4 of the majors.
Yeah, I'd like to know what in all 4. That's a pretty good point.
And 1-1.
Hey,
That's
first one this week,
fantastic.
you can still get some money on that.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of like realistic bets that are wild, do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like in terms of like a 101 odd bet.
Yeah,
Like,
Louis
that's
to come
like
top.
going
Yeah.
like Leicester to win the Premier League.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
It's unlikely, but at the same time, never say never.
Yeah, but I mean, like Louis top 10 for all 4 majors, like it's, as you say, it's
He doesn't win that,
wild.
but he's always up there.
Yeah, but for him to be there,
He's a listed country player.
I might have to go throw some money down.
There you
Check
go.
my betway account.
Because I've got Cam Smith as well,
Yeah.
same bet at
That's
91-1.
That's also a good bet.
One of the top 10 for all 4 majors.
Four.
That is actually a fantastic one. I really like that Louis bet though. I just
Yeah.
We're going to be doing watch alongs of all the majors, and if Cam Smith does do that, we're going to go out that night.
and
I'm
Ross going to pay
I'm
for
not paying
it.
attention. You're going to be seeing me on the whiskey,
Yeah.
and Kyria Ross, you just take that.
Yeah.
You know that 19 for one? Yeah, thanks, chap.
How much did you put on it?
Sure, I'm up to $20 and put 50 on it.
Okay. It's conservative. It's
Yeah, listen,
worth
I don't-
100
I
though.
don't have money to bet
Yeah.
because I bet in
Spends.
pennies.
He's betted on blues, and
I like that. I could next part I could be telling you about how I threw 100 rand on Ross. Ross goes bets on Louis.
In a week's time, you're going to go quarter of the way through there.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Masters week, and the South Africans involved. Well, obviously, haven't confirmed who's playing stuff like that. But Tigger's there. Zaydno's supposed to be there.
Louis, obviously.
Louis, and also we've had an executive decision that we are becoming the Eric Van Rooyen Army.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
So I was about to ask you, of everyone other than Louis, who do you think will perform the best out there? And I
Out of
see
the
this.
South Africans.
Yeah, the South Africans. But I'm assuming the Eric Van Rooyen Army is
No, well, we were
decision made.
We were just saying that when he comes and lays back in South Africa, we all need to make sure we've got going out moustaches.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
No, it's got nothing to do with his golfing ability
Oh,
whatsoever. Yeah,
okay.
yeah, no. We just all decided that we need to commit to.
And the moustaches as well.
Moustache, yeah.
I'm gonna have to start now. So.
Ross started 2 years ago.
Um,
Yeah, I think that's. I got a feeling. I'd like to see. I think Eric's going to do something. I
is he
think.
playing?
Yeah. Well, he's on the list on the website. Whether it's been confirmed, but he is supposed to be playing. You just rock with a moustache and they just let you onto the first
Yeah.
tee. I
Pretty
mean,
reasonable.
yeah.
Does make sense, like in terms of
Yeah.
Sunshine Tour should
Nice.
probably get on that as well.
Yeah. So we're going to start the Eric's Army.
But, yeah, in terms of South African contingent, I'm hoping Christian.
I think
I like it.
Yeah, of all the guys, Christian's probably got the best.
I strongly. I think he's the next.
South Africa.
Yeah, when Louis fades off, I think that he'll carry the mantle forward. I think for a while.
Yeah.
He'll be around there.
Because he is quite consistent and everything
Yeah.
like that. And he doesn't like buckle under big pressure or anything like that. He's a pretty solid player all around, which is what you kind of need.
Yeah.
Interested to see how Garrett goes.
Yeah, I was also
Yeah.
about to say. Garrick, I think, still very young, still got like a lot of
Yeah.
lot to learn. You know.
And also again, I wonder, very different to James Hartberg because he got hyped up without winning.
Yeah.
He won early.
Yeah.
And he wasn't even meant to be.
Yeah, his
Yeah.
first non-major start on invite, and you win.
You win. And then suddenly everyone's like,
Yeah.
we've got our next Louis. We've got our next Ernie. Like, this is the future of
And
golf.
I mean, you also saw, I don't know if you saw in his press conference afterwards how Gary phoned him. And Gary Blair also has just been on the Gary Kuba hype train, and he said he's the next South African superstar. He's like destined for stardom. And I think it's a lot of pressure to have on you at such an early age.
He hasn't really performed outside of
He didn't perform at the Olympics.
Yeah.
I was very upset.
That's what I'm saying. Like he did. Like obviously the win is exceptional.
Yeah, I mean, he had that week in Spain where he got his first European Tour win.
Yeah.
Then he went over and played in, I think it was the PGA Championship, and then he got his invite into that event, which he won.
Yeah.
And since then, he's stagnated.
Yeah, exactly. But that tends to happen with a lot of golfers
Yeah.
as well. It's so easy to get.
Matt's
really
is still spending his money, to be fair.
Yeah. I mean, that's how you can't
and fair,
fault
and
him.
fair.
Yeah.
I know he got engaged, so whoever
Good for him.
girlfriend saw the first win and was like, right, we're settling in now. Get to a card, sorted, played the Masters. Yeah, I don't expect much from him.
No.
As I said, I'd like to see Eric pull him because I think Eric's like talent wise.
Yeah.
He's,
Could be doing big things. Whether mentally and stuff like that, he's got the composure. Whether Schwartzel's going to be, Schwartzel tossed the club the other day.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he also had that worldie in the same weekend.
Yeah, he made the all-out eagle from under
Yeah.
94 yards. And did you see the video of that? I mean,
No,
he
I
rolled
saw
out
one of
from
them.
slam dunk from 194 yards. He didn't even go like celebrate. He just walked on.
I don't know if that's like a
Like a
big swing
yeah,
or if it's
yeah. Is that like a
oh, that happens all the
Yeah.
time.
or is that like a
Yeah.
just like that? If you're doing that while you play like a flipping.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then obviously so non-South Africans who we and before we get to the Tiger chat, big ones. Lars Cantley,
Cam Smith.
Cam
Yeah.
Smith, Paul Casey.
I don't know about Casey.
You know.
WGC injury with Drew. He's still not 100% for this week, so he might not even play.
Yeah.
Matsuyama's also got an injury, so that'll be interesting.
If a non-South African, which will probably happen, wins,
Yeah, jeez, wild shot. Whoa.
I'm all in on Tommy, dude. Fleetwood has to win.
On Tommy?
Dude.
But didn't Tommy also lose his PGA Tour card? Like he's also been striking.
Not in form. No, it's not saying he's going to win. Not putting money on that. Whoa. I'm just saying people I'd love to see.
Okay.
Like,
Yeah.
imagine seeing Tommy with that green
Oh,
jacket.
yeah.
And the hair and the like. Because he's such a cool guy.
Yeah, I know he is.
So I must say, I actually saw Tommy win at the Nedbank Golf
Yeah.
Challenge when he was here. It was also fantastic to watch.
Yeah. And all the interactions you see with him and like the DP World Tour media and all of that, he's a very genuine guy.
Yeah.
I mean, I've met him and he's also super friendly.
But I must say, I don't see him.
No, I don't see him doing much
to be honest, I
either.
don't even see him performing that well. Like he might be okay, like maybe make the cut sort of thing, but I'd be shocked if he's anywhere near like the top 20.
I think it's going to be an interesting year as well because you look at the likes of Fleetwood, DJ, Morikawa, JT even, and you look at the form that they've had recently, and in years past, I mean DJ goes in
Looking
hot.
always.
JT, Morikawa's been untouchable the last year and a half, and they're all going into this week in bang average form. I mean, you've got Scotty Scheffler's red hot, but I don't think he can do it again.
No.
Cam Smith is looking good. He's been.
Imagine that Moat in a green jacket.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to be an interesting year based on the top guys not coming in with insane form. Brooks as well. You haven't heard much
No,
from
Brooks has also been, for someone who's so good at majors, he's been very, very quiet.
Bryson as well. Bryson's been out for the last 3 months
So
with injury.
Bryson's an interesting one, yeah. Obviously he's got the injury and everything like that, but Bryson also, like he said, like he's not coming back till he's 100%. So I'd
Yeah.
like to see the kind of form Bryson comes back, because he was like, you know what, like I'm at 90% at the moment, like I could probably play, but I'm not going to. I'm only going to play when I'm 100%. So I'd like to see what sort of
But he'll play it now, but he says that right now, if he's at 90%, he's playing this week.
for
You
Masters.
don't-
I mean,
you don't
he
not
played
play the Masters.
WGC 2
Yeah.
weeks ago. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think, and then obviously there's like, outside shot, and I think, is awesome playing good golf, is where do we see Hovland going?
Yeah, Victor Hovland's fantastic. Yeah.
That man can play golf there.
You know, I've got cash on it. I think it's outside shot as well. Garcia.
Garcia?
Spanish Armada, I can get behind Spanish Armada, eh?
And he's got
John
the-
Rahm. I'm for those two.
Yeah.
I can see
And
those.
Garcia has played some good golf. golf around
Dude,
Augusta.
John Rahm and Sergio Garcia's performance in the Ryder Cup was
That's
probably the
bad.
most inspirational thing I've seen in such a long time of golf.
I almost had a stack of Sergio, but I thought I'm just going to
I was like to see these two guys, like the whole team's falling apart and just going
and
just
Garcia.
the caliber,
other,
rallying off each other, the caliber of player that they're beating, like it was like they were beating guys that had won the day before, like Smoke, like Rory and whatnot. It was incredible.
And also Garcia went into the Ryder Cup like not playing
very well.
Like it was like, should you really be playing? But it was like, it's the Ryder Cup. You play the guy that's been so
and then
successful.
it became the highest
kind of
point scoring Ryder Cup player in history.
and the way that those two are bouncing off each other.
So I guess those two also, like you can see, like they I think they've also got that experience, and like John Rahm is so good at being good. You know what I mean? Like he's so good at being good that the Masters is the kind of thing that he could really win.
I mean, he was number one in the world for ages.
And I mean, he's also like, he's just, as I say, like he's one of those players, a clutch player, like good mental game. Just that Ryder Cup for me, man, that was unreal.
And I dig those Spanish tracks. I mean, even Pablo 3 weeks ago at Peakenwood. It's just such a good vibe about it. I mean, you watch him on TV or if you're in person, he's just such a vibey, vibrant, upbeat, fiery.
I heard he's a bit of a jawler as well.
I'm sure the Spanish guys enjoy that too.
He's just a fiery, they've all got fiery personalities, and when it comes to like competitiveness,
and the Irish lads?
Rory will never win it.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
You don't think so, eh?
I watched when I watched that year when he had that meltdown in the woods. I remember watching it while I was away. And you just sat there thinking, I think like that almost sat there like that was it. Like you couldn't have had a better chance to win the Masters. And the problem with Rory is, again, the expectation every year is, will he finally win it?
And I think Rory's also, he's at a point in his career now where he's trying to get back to where he was. You know, he's not quite the player he was. I mean, he's still a fantastic player, and I think ability-wise, he's still got like the ability, but there's something that's not quite working, whether it's mental or whatever. Like a lot of guys are saying he lost the passion for the game and everything like that. So I think he's still trying to find whatever it is that he's lost, and I don't think it's his ability, because his swing is still. He's still got one of the best swings, but it's just, I think he's trying to chase the wrong things. Like there was a stage he was trying to
get the Bryson thing, where he was trying to hit it as long as
exactly. So you're trying to like, he had obviously not been playing well or playing to the best of his ability, and he was like, no, Bryson's hitting it long. I've got to try to do this. He tried to chase long drives, which is, I don't think the solution for a golfer of that level. I don't think you say, you know what, I'm struggling at golf, I should hit it longer.
Yeah, you got to stick to your guns.
Especially when he hit it long anyway.
Yeah.
It's not like that was the part of his game that was always like, throughout his career, it was always like, hit it long, better. Like,
exactly that. And it only came about when he saw someone driving ridiculous averages, and he's like, oh, this is what's going wrong, I need to get some more ball speed. But I mean, and it's like, how much are you really going to drive further? Like, if you got 10 meters further, that would be a monumental game at that level, monumental gain at that level. So for me, like, I think he was kind of chasing the wrong things, and then it was like he's not passionate. So I don't know. I don't think Rory has. I think he has the ability, but I don't think he will be able to win the Masters.
And I also think on recent form, and it's plagued him the last couple of seasons, is his putting.
Yeah.
I mean, you watch him, but he didn't play WGC, but I can't remember what the event was before that he played. And you watch him putt, and he stands over 3, 4, 5 footers, and he almost looks like an amateur. He stands over those, and there's a very good chance he misses it. And going to Augusta when the greens are like putting on ice, is you've got to have. I mean, that's why Jordan's speed, I think, has been so successful there over the years, is because of how good of a putter that guy is.
You can't look at the Masters and not be able to putt.
And so I don't think Rory.
Yeah, I think Rory's also it's mentally. I mean, that Dubai when he played that and he looked so set, and he put that 3 all into the water.
Yeah.
And just before that, when he had the recovery, when he like went off in the rough, and you're like, wow, there he goes, and he chipped it to like there and sank the putt and said, right, we're moving that 3 wood into the water.
That 3 wood into Dubai was heartbreaking.
No, well, like literally,
and it was like
as he hit it, you're just like, oh, that's not gone well.
Yeah, and it's like I was thinking to myself, I was like, yo, he's really confident, like he's going for the green, and I think he didn't necessarily have to.
He shouldn't have.
He shouldn't have, but I was like, wow, this is really confident. Like, this is the old Rory.
That's what Louis does as well.
Yeah.
It was at the US Open, I think, last year, or it was either the US Open or was the PGA. where he went for it as well. Like he tried to attack the green and went off to the rough. And they asked him, he said, "Oh, well, you win majors by risking things."
No, for sure.
And you're like, "Well, you're not winning majors." That's why you're not winning the majors, maybe.
But that's why I was like, when I saw Rory, that one in Dubai, I think was a very defining moment for him, especially in recent time. Because I was like, this is where the Rory of old comes back. Like he's going to crack this through. He doesn't need to do it, but this man's going to crack through it on the green.
So thanks, chaps.
Yeah, thanks, chap.
Popped over the DP Tour for one event. He wanted back to the PGA.
And then he also saw him rip his shirt after that, and that also I think is quite a big sign of where he is mentally and just how frustrated and he's just not in the right place.
He just needs to come play some rounds with us.
Yeah,
absolutely.
We'll see you at the bank. Actually, my game's not together. I still got it.
You watch us putt and be like, okay, my stroke looks pretty good actually.
Do you know one player that I really, really enjoy in that? I don't think quite has the ability to win the Masters, and I'm sure he can perform really well. I would never say he'd win it, but all around a good player and a good player for the future is Will Zalatoris.
Yeah.
Absolutely love him. I think the way he can shape the ball is fantastic. Like I'm like, that's a really, really good player. Will he win it? No. Will he come top 10? Maybe. But he's certainly a player that I think is going to be coming up in the future quite a bit.
The only thing that scares me about that guy, and again, is his putting. That thing will give you 9.
Yeah. You should see mine.
I mean, that
so most arcs are like, I don't know how to explain it. You can go, your arc is like this.
Yeah.
My arc tends to do that. So it defies any putting stroke ever made.
Putting like a little size pin and watching it.
That makes no sense.
But I mean, you look at some of the putts with Will Zalatoris, and I mean, like one at the Open sticks out. I mean, it was about a foot long and you missed the ball.
Yeah.
That guy's putting stroke is.
It's
it wasn't quite that John Rahm on that other day. So you see that made my year. I watched that and I went, I don't even think I've done that.
No, but it's a humble. It's like a humble reminder that you golf will humble you.
Moments like that are the perfect sort of like levels of this game will humble you all the time. Like,
no matter how good you are.
Yeah.
100%.
It's funny how like you like all the regulars you just don't talk about anymore. Like Westwood's gonna actually is Westwood? No, is playing. Obviously
Listen,
no Phil.
He had around that place.
Yeah, he had a really good run a little while ago. Like there was like a lot of promise for him.
Yeah,
and then
last
again,
year with Bayhill and all of that.
Yeah,
Bryson was quite good.
There was a stage. Yeah, there was a stage where he was playing really, really good golf. And again, he's also kind of one of the guys that have quieted down, especially this year. Like not much of the.
Yeah, but he's active on Twitter. Eh?
Is he?
He's busy taking on the entire Golf Digest publication.
Oh, is he not a fan of Golf Digest?
He's going after the one, I think it's like one of the editors or something like that. Slams him all the time.
Why?
I think he had a go at him about, I think it was about the Saudi Arabia golf stuff. And I think that he was going after me for a lot of things, but he wasn't like, and he said like, hey, tag me. If you want to go after me, tag me. Don't
best you mentioned.
You want to be over there. Like, you know what my handle is? Like we've chatted, you want to chat shit about me? It's actually been quite funny. Go check it out.
You know who's always a good watch at the Masters as well? It's good old Bernard Langer.
Yeah.
Old timer, but man, that guy can play.
Yeah, and there was also
that's what makes the Masters so cool.
Yeah.
It's like all the and also it's like even if they're not playing well, it's all the big names.
And didn't Bernard Langer at the last Masters outperform Bryson?
Yeah.
Like there was some stats showing like
Bryson didn't play.
Yeah,
he
Vegas made 7 out of 7 cuts at the Masters. The guys there every weekend.
But it was like
cool to see.
Yeah, there were so many cool stats about it because it was like that time where Bryson was really hyped up about his driving and everything.
He had said that he was going to play Augusta as a par 67, and then Bernard Langer showed him how it was done.
Yeah. Brilliant.
Class is permanent. Eh? Yeah. And then we have to address the Sunday red elephant in the room, Tiger.
Yeah.
Winner.
Yo, that's massive. That is huge.
So, as much as I'd like to say he's going to win it, and he'll always have the ability, it's just for me. It seems too far fetched of a story. Do you know what I mean? It's like he's done it.
He's had his comeback, dude. So he had the comeback. Masters.
He'll do it again.
So the thing is like that's the thing with Tiger. This is the thing. It's every time that you say it's too far fetched for him to come back, he goes and does it. But if he really does this, like in terms of the history of sports, it's far beyond anything, any sort of comeback.
That takes his last comeback and blows it so far.
I mean, he said a couple of weeks ago, I'll never be able to play on the tour.
Yeah.
You know, I will play a couple of events here and there. Like, I'm no longer fit enough to play on the tour. I will select certain things. So to just be able to be like, Let me just go play the Masters.
Yeah.
Bang, win. Like, surely not.
If he manages to win it, it would, as I say, in terms of the history of sport,
It would rewrite sports.
yeah, it could quite honestly be the biggest moment in sports history ever. Like it's that like caliber. I can't think of moments that would be bigger than that.
Yeah.
Like that's when,
Or could even come close.
yeah,
I
like
think.
you've transcended the sport and some and some and some. It's like,
And then also, like, how much is it a case of like 50% greater sporting comeback? This is unreal. Is it also 50% Oaks? You've got the guy who's not playing on the tour. He's playing Sunday golf with his mates. And he's just rocked up and put you in your place.
no, it's
Like, like how much do you then also have to sit there going, like, why can't other guys step up and beat Tiger? Because look, if Tiger's playing the best golf of his life, then fantastic. But we're seeing in like the tennis tour, for example, the fact that Rafa, Djokovic, they're still so good. Like,
But I think that's where the conversation of the GOAT comes in.
oh yeah,
No,
that's
so
the thing. The fact that he can just go back there. If
I mean,
you-
are the great.
So that's the thing, like he really is already the greatest. He already is bigger than golf. He's already pulled off one of the greatest sporting comebacks of all time. There's no doubt about that. But I mean, to do it again,
And again.
you know what I mean? So like it's he's his first career, like before the whole incident with the cheating and everything like that.
for the first instance.
Yeah, so he already was like the greatest of all time then. Like what he performed in the majors and everything was fantastic. Like he already was the GOAT, came back and still managed to do it again. To now be in a car accident and break your legs and
Literally be told that you're probably never going to walk again.
to win the Masters again would be ridiculous. But I want to know in dead honesty. So now I've seen whenever you do this Tiger conversation with people, it's always more of an emotional conversation than it is a well thought out conversation. It's like, no, he's going to do it again. Why? Because he's Tiger. He's this. He's
I
this.
think he invokes so much emotion.
But we're seeing with the odds.
Yeah.
He does not deserve to have the odds that he's got going into this weekend.
Right.
When you think, if you look at it very, like if a random person rocks up and they're like, yeah, no, listen, this guy, he's won it in the past, one of the best players ever, but car accident last year, he's not playing on the tour, he's barely playing, he's played a couple of practice rounds. As a betting person, objectively, you're not sitting there going, yeah, no, he's got a shot.
Yeah,
You're writing more down. You're thinking
guy.
like, oh, this is like an all-timer coming out and doing it for like the sake of it, you know, just to like please the crowd, not making a cut type thing.
Yeah. So that's why I say I think it's a kind of conversation you've got to have. You've got to try to take emotion out of it.
Yeah.
Because especially Tiger fans, and not even Tiger fans. You speak to golfers, and already it's a you can see when they're talking to you, they're talking with their emotion, not with their head. You know. So realistically, can Tiger win it again? It's so hard to say because we haven't seen it
because he hasn't played. Yeah, you've got nothing to base it off, so you have no idea what sort of performance he's bringing.
Yeah, all you've kind of got to see is him and Charlie together.
At PNC.
Yeah, at the PNC, which is.
But even that was 5 months ago.
Yeah. So.
And the problem is also, as you said, like we don't even. I mean, he could be topping everything at the driving range today. We've got absolutely no idea. The only thing, as we were saying earlier, that maybe comes to his favour is the fact that the big players, and a lot of them aren't playing well. There isn't, for the first time in a long time, there isn't like those three players who you're going, those guys are going to be walking out together on a Sunday in their back nine to win Masters.
And on top of that, what helps Tiger even more is one, those guys aren't on form, and his knowledge of Augusta is unbelievable.
Yeah.
He knows it better than anybody else. He knows how to play it better than anybody else.
So I've got a question for you guys. What does it mean if Tiger comes and absolutely bombs out, doesn't make the cut? Is that his career then done?
No.
I wouldn't say it's his career done, but I think that.
So I'm not saying like your career is trash. Cause nothing can ever. Like,
no, I wouldn't say
no,
reputation is affected, but I think moving forward, he's lost. I think he loses a lot of that aura. You know, that sort of Tigers here, bookies are interested. I think he brings a lot of crowds in because
he'll always.
It becomes more nostalgic. It becomes more like we're seeing, for me anyway, I think it's for me it'd be more we're seeing Tiger towards the end as opposed to we're seeing Tiger like going out and
so
doing
that's
things.
so that's one thing I always think it's interesting because I really wonder if Tiger is going to get sucked into this. I want to keep playing, and kind of get sucked into that. It kind of gets.
And he kind of fades out.
But like it kind of almost gets like sad to watch this. It's almost like Arsene Wenger holding on to Arsenal for that. Like Arsene Wenger made the Invincibles. He was the manager for 14 years, but kind of left on the wrong note because he just kept trying, and obviously managing a team is different to being the player.
But also, as you said, you don't want to be seeing Tiger retiring after missing like 5 cuts.
Also, I think though Tiger himself, he's got his own game plan in terms of what the rest of his career looks like. So I think even if he does bomb out this week, I don't think it'll be the end of Tiger.
No.
Because he's come out on multiple times and said he wants to go and play on the Champions Tour.
Yeah.
He wants to win the US Open on the Champions Tour, because then he becomes the only player in history to have won the US Amateur, the US Open and the US Champions Open. And so I think you might, if he was to bomb out this week, you'd slowly see him start removing himself from the PGA Tour. You'd probably play select events.
And that to me would make sense.
And I think move on to other things.
And I think Ernie also did that to a certain degree where he comes to terms that he could play still on the tour. He could make a few cuts, but
it's not doing his name justice. And it's what you guys were saying, where it almost becomes sad to watch.
Yeah, and you don't want him to go to the Champions Tour because, well, mate, you're not good enough for this tour.
Yeah.
You can't play this. You've got to play with the old players, basically. It's like sending him to a retirement home. Whereas if you're sitting there like, I can still play here, but I'm going there to go and win stuff there.
I'm going to go break more records.
Yeah.
I've done what I've had to do here.
You guys crack on.
Now
it's almost like progressing from a nightclub to a pub.
Yeah.
I've done that. I've achieved what I needed to. I've done that in the nightclub. I've sent it. I've been doing the Jaegers. Yeah. I'm off to go polish the beers with the lads on a Sunday.
Yeah.
Like I'm off to that. That's where I am like now. I'm now the whiskey on a Sunday night guy whilst you guys send the kids till 4 in the morning.
You could try and match my records up.
It's up on the wall there.
Yeah.
There's 20 drops are there. You guys go for it. I'm off to go and put the old guys to shame.
Yeah, that's what I say. I think the whole Tiger thing's interesting. In terms of his whole career, he's certainly on the last limbs. I don't think any person in their right mind would say that this guy's
going to go for another 5 years.
Yeah. I'd like to see how he sort of phases out the end of his career.
It'll be interesting to see what his plan is, because he definitely has one for what comes next.
Yeah.
But nobody knows.
But my thing is, this next thing this guy wins, what is his career path then? Is it like, do we still phase out? Or is it like, go?
Is he like, right boys, Ryder Cup 2023, put me on there, Chief. I'm in.
Yeah. So that's what I say.
President's Cup this year?
Yeah, can you imagine? I mean, that's the thing, exactly. Is he back? That would be the big question. We can talk about that next.
Is he going to be playing regularly?
Yeah.
What is his schedule going to? Because even if he wins this week, what does his schedule look like?
And his body's also giving out in a bit. Like, how much golf can this guy really? He already had back issues before he broke both his legs.
That's why.
Like, now man's broken both his legs. He got back issues.
Dude, if he wins, his body's like, okay, come chat.
And I'm sure even his mind, the guy's achieved everything you need to achieve. Like, this is probably just trying to see what you have left in the tank, sort of thing. Like, do I have another?
You know what he's probably doing? He's just saying to Charlie, you think it was hard to beat my records?
Yeah. Good luck.
Add another master to that chap. Good luck.
Quickly, just to touch on that, in terms of his back and his knees and all of that, me and my mate were talking about it the other day. Since the PNC, it's been 5 months, and his back surgery was 2 or 3 years ago, and in the last 5 months he hasn't been doing much.
Yeah.
So I reckon he's at trainers and physios, and his back now is probably the strongest it's been since before the surgery, because he's had so much downtime. This is the most downtime he's had in however long.
And back injuries typically require a lot of rest. Like golf, not going to do any good for that.
So it'll be quite interesting to see how he holds up. I think there's a lot up in the air and a lot to be seen.
I think it goes 2 ways. I suppose there's 3 ways. He either goes in, nowhere, misses the cut, and all the hype sort of goes away for a couple of days. Yeah, or he goes in and he's sitting like 15th, 16th on like Friday night, and you're sitting there going, right, are we going to see a Tiger charge? Or he's going to be like just get the cut, and then it's going to be like. And the funny thing about him is that even if he makes the cut, he could be sitting at T40, and a lot of people will still be sitting there going, well, how high can he go? What's he doing?
Yeah.
And they'll probably care more about him than who's finishing top 10.
Yeah.
You know, they'll watch the leaders, but because he's got that pull, and that's the thing, and that's why he'll get invites for the rest of his life. Yeah. He could be 75 and Marshall still be like, hey, do you want to play?
Yeah. No, you PK players, HSA, please bring the crowds back. But emotion out of it, where do you guys think Tiger, realistically, if you had to take all your emotion out, bearing in mind that this is a guy who's had back injuries, he's broken both his legs. I mean, who were we talking about earlier where we were like, yeah, his form kind of hasn't been great, like Scotty Scheffler. Well, not Scotty,
DJ.
like DJ and Colin and all those guys were like, yeah, no, their form kind of hasn't been good. I don't think they're going to perform. This is someone who hasn't played properly in like 2 years. I mean, he's done a PNC championship.
And they've got major surgery.
Yeah, I mean, as I said, like we were talking about guys that have maybe not performed to their best of their ability in the last few months, but they've still been playing really well at world number ones, twos, threes, whatever. And we're like, oh, they're not going to win it. Realistically, where do you think Tiger racks up in terms of that kind of a conversation? So now there's no emotion, and it's hard to put that aside. Where would you honestly say Tiger's going to...
I think from what I've heard from other players this week and media guys, I mean, I saw something from one of the guys who works for ESPN that was walking around the course last week and saw him play a practice round. He'll make the cut.
That's what
I definitely think he'll make the cut. I think for him, he wouldn't give himself the opportunity to play if he doesn't think he can make the cut. Because I think in the back of his mind, he knows that if he was to miss cut, it would really screw things up in terms of his mentality.
It doesn't, but it does also. But also, it does and it doesn't start to tarnish the thing. It is because people are thinking, well, why did you do it?
Yeah.
Like you had everything. Why must you try and prolong this?
So realistically, if he plays, he'll make cuts.
Imagine tomorrow that the interest comes out, he's not playing.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. I still
we've had this whole thing.
I'm back in top 20.
Well, you'll have to do a quick post edit.
Yeah.
this whole thing.
It's a time like 20 minutes worth of the podcast.
Could be gone.
Just he didn't play.
I'm back in top 20.
Yeah. So I must say, Roscoe made a fantastic point, and I think that's a point that is probably the best point of the Tiger discussion. Is that Tiger's most likely not going to play unless he knows he's going to make the cut. I'm sure the guy's got enough experience, enough knowledge about golf and his game to say this game is worth making the cut or this game's not worth playing. Because I feel like he wouldn't put all this pressure on him and go out there unless the master's been whispering in his ear saying, bro, please.
Yeah. Like unless you're getting paid.
He woke up to a mill and the reference was just masters, please.
Yeah. So I think that's probably the best point. Like if he is playing, he's going to make the cut, but to put him in the top 20, top 10, I think is realistically emotions out of it. I think that's a bit of a stretch.
Well, there we go. So we've got top 20 from you. You're saying
I'd say
if he plays, he makes the cut.
Yeah.
I'm kind of
say win it.
Yeah. He's going all the way. No, I'm with you. I think he'll make the cut. I don't see him making a charge. I don't see it.
That's why if he does.
Emotion, he's going to win it.
Yeah. And I can see the moment you brought up Tiger, I just saw Roscoe. He's like, he's gonna win it. He's gonna win it.
Ross isn't telling us, but he's got his car on Tiger winning. But there we go. I think that's a nice place to end it. We've all got our Tiger predictions. In a week's time, we can sit check. Ross will be in his Ferrari if Tiger wins it.
Yep.
Or we'll be Ubering here if he doesn't.
Yeah.
And
if Louis comes top 4 in the next top 10 in the next 4 majors, me and Steve are going to be drinking.
Yeah.
We might have to make a go back to the nightclub again.
Yeah. We're back.
It'll be the reappearance of
Tiger's the only one that's back.
Yeah. Absolutely. So just before you end, Steve, can we all have one choice on player that we're going to think is going to win? Just so I can hold everyone accountable come next week.
I'll start. John Rahm.
Oof, that's brutal. I was going to be honest. I was going to say John Rahm myself.
No, I'm all in on John.
It's a very outside shot, and this goes very much against what we said. But I will say Scotty Scheffler.
Tiger Woods.
It's quite. Oh,
Cam Smith.
Cam Smith. That's a very good one.
Yeah, I think you're going on very much recent form.
Yes.
You're going on. I would almost call it big dick energy this year.
Yeah.
When that oak needs to win and there's big money in the line, he just wins. Yeah. He's won a lot of money this year. I'm just backing the better golfer over the last 2 years.
I mean, I was going to go John Rahm, and then you threw me, so I was like, Scotty's got
to jump in there early.
Scotty or Victor.
I'm more than the Spanish Armada, him and Serge to do a bit of stuff around.
Okay, cool. Well, we'll see come Monday who's pouring the beers for the next pod.
There we go.
Yeah, just on Tiger, I saw a thing today. He speaks at 11 a.m. their time tomorrow. He's got a press.
So you got to edit this and get it out before then, in case that changes.
we'll do a live stream. Yeah. Go like right, and no, he's not playing again. But
scrap the episode.
Yeah, there we go. We'll try again next week. But yeah, please do smash like on the video, and we will have a lot more content out there. Wedge crew, we're on YouTube as their podcast on all the favorite platforms, iTunes, Spotify, it all works. And we'll see you guys soon, chaps. Thank you. It's been a long time, but we finally got there.
I look forward to the round of golf together. I'll say that's the real heart of golf.
That's going to be competitive. There might be a couple of rude words flying around.
Also a couple of maybe sore backs. Injuries might come out there.
Old Tiger's coming back just
There you go. Well, there you go, chaps. For the Long Grass podcast, this has been the Footbridge Crew. We'll see you next time.